So, what is going on, guys? This is Ryan here.
And this is other Ryan here.
And today we once again have another interesting video for you all. Now this one is talking about the fate of the security guard in Five Nights at Freddy's 3.
Yes, now I actually stumbled across this when I was trying to search up Five Nights at Freddy's theories. I was trying to search up theories for a top 10, I believe. And I came across this Bungie.net theory, but basically describes the fate of the security guard. And it really caught my interest, and I'll be sure to link it down below. But yeah, today we'll be discussing what might have potentially happened to this night guard we play as in Five Nights at Freddy's 3, because it's pretty unclear what actually happens to him.
There's a lot of details that are left uncovered, really, isn't there? We don't really know what actually happened to him, and there's some key distinct features which really differ from the other two games, which enable this unusual and peculiar sense when we're playing as the Night Guard, especially towards Night 5 and Night 6.
Yes, so as we know, usually at the end of Night 5 in any Five Nights at Freddy's game, we're introduced to a check with our name on it and the pay that we've received for that day. Or, you know, a pink notice to say we've been fired or something like that. But we strangely, we don't know the identity of the security guard we're playing as, which is very interesting. And we don't actually get a paycheck at the end. We just get a black screen that introduces the death minigame. And at the end of Nightmare mode, we're just introduced to a newspaper clipping that says the place is burnt down. And the newspaper doesn't actually say anything about any casualties. So today we'll be discussing what this theory is basically suggesting.
You see, and something really interesting about this whole idea is what you mentioned about the security guard's identity. Usually we're made pretty clear on the identity of the security guard, and Scott does this for some reason. But why is it that in Five Nights at Freddy's 3, the game just before Five Nights at Freddy's 4, the identity of the security guard is kept really secretive and we actually don't know who we're playing as?
Yeah, and obviously the fact that we play in Nightmare mode, and Nightmare being a very driving force for Five Nights at Freddy's 4, so maybe we will be introduced to this character, but it's kind of like a cliffhanger almost. So as I said previously, at the end of Night 5, we just fade out to black, and Night 6, we just fade out to black, introduced to a newspaper. We don't actually get a paycheck. This forum is basically suggesting that that is the true ending. At the end of the night, there's no game over, it just fades to black and it passes on, almost like we've died and we're passing on. And this may suggest why we actually get a game over screen when we die, because it's meant to feel like a game almost. That's not the true ending of how it's meant to be almost.
I see, yeah, because when you actually think back to the other previous games, when we die, we're always introduced to this screen where we can almost see the Night Guard cowering from one of the animatronics, aka Five Nights at Freddy's 2. We kind of see him looking through the Freddy Fazbear mask, and he looks like he may be hiding from the withered Freddy. And then in Five Nights at Freddy's 1, we can inevitably see the other security guard stuffed inside of Freddy Fazbear with the eyes popping out of the sockets. And then in number 3, there's absolutely nothing other than this kind of unusual static, and it makes you think, what really happened to this guy? Was he stuffed in a suit, or did something else happen? When you think about it, in Five Nights at Freddy's 3, there's an awful lot of suits lingering around which are completely empty.
This theory actually suggests that maybe Night 5, the Night Guard, actually leaves the ventilation open. And because obviously there's no air, he passes out and blacks out, therefore going into Nightmare mode, which is his dreams, his nightmares. And then after that, because he's sleeping, obviously all this equipment's overheating, and then the fire occurs, and he's actually the establishment catches fire, and that's the end of the Night Guard.
What's actually really interesting about that is that the phone dude specifically mentions to keep the air flowing, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And of course, as the nights go on, these ventilation systems and all the other things that may possibly error seem to get more common. So it's almost like the establishment is breaking down. Maybe, as Ryan said, the ventilation system could have actually errored, and maybe it was unpreventable, and this Nightmare mode is a representation of what happened when the Night Guard passed out. I mean, he's seeing this horrific layout of the Fazbear's Fright, isn't he? He's seeing all these crazy animatronics, especially Springtrap, and only in his hallucination, maybe he's overthinking it, but he may see this guy as a much more aggressive character coming to truly kill him, and that's why everything is so much more difficult and is renowned and named the Nightmare mode.
Yes.
Because that could explain another thing as well. I mean, when you think back to Five Nights at Freddy's 1 and 2, we've always been known to have a Night 6, haven't we?
Yeah.
And then when Nightmare mode came along, everyone was kind of a little bit confused as to why it's not just called Night 6. And it is very interesting as to why Scott chooses to ignore this usual depiction of this extra night, and he changes the name completely. It leaves me to think that there's something a little bit more fishy going on with this night here.
Well, when we actually click the night, it does say Night 6, but the fact that he does name it Nightmare mode in the screen is very strange.
Exactly, and I think that's the key point we need to remember, because now with the introduction of these Nightmare animatronics, it could lead on well and truly from this passing out or the erroring of this equipment, and it may be entwined a little bit deeper than we may all think.
Yeah.
So there we have it, guys. There's once again another interesting video for you all. We really hope you did enjoy this video, and be sure to comment down below any of your thoughts on this topic.
Yes, and I'll be sure to put the forum in the link down below. It is well worth the read, guys. There's also some other theories down there, and it also describes some things that you may have actually missed, so I'll be sure to put that down below. But if you guys did enjoy this video, be sure to give it a like rating, and if you're new around here, why not subscribe also for theories like this and also some gameplay.
So thank you very much for watching the video, guys, and we'll of course see you on the next one.
Goodbye, guys.
Want to see even more content from us?
Consider liking and subscribing to ensure you'll see all content in the foreseeable future.
And hey, why not check out our past 2 videos?